If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is June the 9th, 2023, and today the topic is pride and shame. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. I hope that you all had a great Thursday. Mine was just fine. Shout out to my dad, y'all. It's my dad's 73rd birthday today. So, yes, shout out to that gentleman, Mr. Larry O'Neal. Looking forward to celebrating him tonight, going to dinner with the family, things like that. If the Lord's will now, I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, shout out to him. 73 years young and all of that. So, yeah, to God be the glory. To God be the glory. Yes. Outside of that, y'all, what happened yesterday? Well, yesterday, y'all know it was Thursday and I ended up working and whatnot. And then after that, I went and finalized the things for my show for next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So I went and picked up those items and whatnot. And then I came on back home. NJ had a little class. It wasn't his regular class, but, you know, we let him watch a video, a class video. And then, that was pretty much it. You know, I whipped up a ramen or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, ramen and egg rolls and whatnot. That's what I had yesterday. And, yeah, that's what our evening looked like in a nutshell. I did give myself the unwind experience for those that care. I did my mani and pedi last night, you know, so my nails and toes is looking a little bit better, you know, than they was yesterday. So look, to God be the glory. Speaking of that, I need to invest in more polish, man. I am running extremely low. So yeah. If anybody else like me, let us go to unwindselfcare.com so we can keep up our self-care routines and whatnot. My nails are looking frosty. I use the same color around Christmas time. But anywho, yeah, that's what my evening looked like. That's what my Thursday looked like. So for this morning, pride and shame. So I woke up at the sound of my alarm this morning, and I don't know if it was a little dream or vision, but it was like I saw, long story short, basically, I saw this lady I go to church with. It was like she was getting prepared. It seemed like she was getting prepared for church, but at the same time, she was like getting prepared for like a pride parade or pride event or something along those lines. And yes, I know what this month, you know, represents for a lot of people and whatnot. I mean, I haven't necessarily acknowledged it because I don't celebrate or anything like that. And I have, you know, been debating about whether I should address the elephant in the room when it comes to, you know, this topic about LGBT. We've addressed it on here, on GSL, numerous times in numerous conversations. But, you know, as a believer, as a Christian and whatnot, sometimes you feel obligated to address certain topics or whatever at certain times. And so I guess that was interesting because when I had that dream or vision or whatever it was this morning, I looked up her name, which meant, I can't remember, but it meant something Christ-like, basically, was what her name meant. And it just ultimately made me think about the word pride, though, more than anything. But as I did my studies this morning, I did kind of look up some articles. So if someone needs some biblical wisdom in regards to, for example, how to handle, you know, this month, this is what, you know, what they call Pride Month. I ended up reading an article on gotquestions.org this morning. And it's all about, gotquestions.org, and it's all about how should Christians respond to Pride Month. So if that's something that you all need to, get more understanding about and whatnot, go check that out and stuff. I don't necessarily think that this conversation is about that today, but I'm just being honest that that's how I came to the word pride, because of the vision and what was going on. And the interesting thing is, this morning, once I was waking up and I got on social media and I was doing different stuff, it was like I saw another lady that I used to go to church with, and she had taken a photo. It was like her and her baby in front of this. I don't want to get too deep because I ain't trying to call nobody out or nothing, but it was basically in front of like a pride image. I'll put it like that. And I don't know if that was confirmation of the word pride or what, but it felt like confirmation to me, basically. And so that's what pride came for this morning. And but I'll get into what the Lord was sharing with me momentarily. Let's get to where shame came from. Well, shame was pretty much came from my prayer meditation this morning. It was talking all about shame and everything like that. I can't remember all the details in this, in this moment, because listen, after I sorry, I was trying to show y'all the app that I was on this morning. But yeah, like after I listened to the prayer meditation, started looking up verses, all this different stuff, like my mind again has been engulfed in so many things where I can't remember all the details, basically. But anywho, I would say that shame came from when I listened to the prayer meditation this morning. And after I listened to it, the Lord, I feel like it confirmed pride and shame as the topic. And the interesting thing is, I went to openbible.info, right? Now, I know this is something else that happened yesterday that I forgot to tell y'all. I got a new phone. My phone, there was something going on with the battery or whatnot. And so I got a new one. I was transferring everything. So basically, one of my phone, is new or whatever. And so I don't know if it's because I was looking from the new phone or what. But when I went to openbible.info this morning and I put in pride and shame, nothing came up. No verses. No verses, y'all. And I did it again because y'all know on openbible.info, I have put in like the most random stuff. And I mean, not to say this is the first time that nothing came up, but I found it very interesting that when I put in pride and shame, nothing came up. When I know there's plenty that the Bible has to say about pride and plenty that the Bible has to say about shame. But the fact that I put them both together, nothing came up. But that's what the Lord was leading me in regards to the topic. So I was like, that's interesting. And I looked it up twice and it did the same thing. No verses. It was like, if you have any verses, add them. And I'm like, huh? So I found it to be interesting. So I broke them down. I looked up pride and then I looked up shame. Obviously, plenty of verses came up when I did that. So that was one interesting thing that happened this morning. So not only did I look up the verses and whatnot, but I also looked up the definitions as well. And I found them to be interesting. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into this juice. So pride, this is what the definition says: a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction, deprived or derived from one's own achievements. The advance, or I can't tell what I wrote, so sorry, y'all can look that up. The something of those which whom one is closely associated of, from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. So that's pride, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. Let's just leave it right there, okay? So then I look up the definition of shame, and this is what it says: a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. So I found it interesting that both pride and shame both represented feelings. That was the first thing that stood out to me. And then I feel like as I was thinking about this, it seemed like they're the complete opposites of, like, one is this feeling of pleasure, satisfaction, and then this other is this feeling of, humiliation and distress. So that was interesting to me as well as I was like thinking about all this. And so, pride and shame. Now the interesting thing, again, we know that, in this topsy-turvy world, things that people should be ashamed of, they're proud of, and on the flip side, you know. And then even when you go into what the Bible has to say about pride and shame and whatnot, or even for example with the prayer and meditation that I was listening to this morning talked about shame. It more so was talking about how we overcome it and things of that nature. And of course I was reminded of yesterday, because again, you know, yesterday I talked about no condemnation and everything like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into some verses, y'all. Let's get into what the Bible has to say. All right. So Jeremiah 9:23 and 24 stood out to me this morning as I was looking into pride. And this is what it says. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. So I felt like when I came across that verse this morning, first of all, I went deeper because I only came across, I think, 23. And then I went deeper and I ended up writing down both 23 and 24. So that was one thing. Two, I felt like it encompassed a lot of the verses that I was coming across with pride in one lump. Because again, you're going to see several different verses talking about pride and whatnot. If you look into the Bible, it's going to be like, oh, pride is this. Everybody knows the pride comes before the fall and all this different type of stuff. Y'all know these verses and whatnot already. So I found this one to be interesting, that it's just really just addressed it head on and in multiple ways, saying, you know, again, if you're wise, don't glory in your wisdom, don't glory in your might, don't glory in your riches, all the things that people glory in, you know. It's just very interesting again that we do complete opposite of what the Bible tells us not to do. But anywho, yeah, that really stood out to me this morning to share, and so I have shared it, and I hope that it encourages you and inspires you, y'all. Like I said, I think what stood out to me the most as I was reading that is the part that says that this part right here, it say, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understand and knoweth me. Period. Like that's what you need to be. If you're gonna boast about anything, you need to be boasting about the Lord. You know the Lord and things like that. He said, "No." Let me say it again. Know and understand. That you understand and know the Lord. That's what you need to be boasting in, according to the Bible, according to that verse that I just read. And that's what stood out to me the most. You know, as I was reading that verse this morning, it's not. I'm sitting here thinking, like, it's not that it's new information. It's good juice for me this morning. You know, it stood out to me as like some juice or whatever. But I'm like, you know, dude, the Bible is telling us this type of thing all the time in regards to, you know, humbling ourselves, putting, you know, others before us, all this different type of stuff, and definitely putting the Lord before us and our own thoughts and things like that. And so, like I said, it just stood out to me the most. I don't know. Anyway, so I feel led to share this verse right here next. It's Proverbs 27:2. It says, let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. Listen, like, I've been kind of living by this verse. I didn't know that this was actual in like a verse in the Bible. You know, it just was something that I don't know if I got it from my mom or what, where it's like, you know, let other people, you know, speak highly of you or whatever the case is. Like, just do exactly what this verse does. Like, it's better for someone else to say great things about you than for you to say great things about yourself, because to me, it's like, if you have to say the great things about yourself, you may not really be that. You know what I mean? Now, it's one thing to go ahead and just, you know, present yourself as you want to be seen and da-da-da. That's something totally different. But if you're going around and, like, puffing yourself up with, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm wise, I'm mighty, I'm rich, whatever it is, then you're probably not that thing. And you may be the thing physically, you know, whatever the case is, but you're probably not that thing overall. Because, you know, again, the Bible has a whole very interesting description when it comes to success, riches, all that type of stuff. And uh, yeah, I'm reminded of one of the verses right now that talks about like the people that think they have it all or think that they are it all, and they're nothing at the end of the day. Um, so hey, y'all got to go deeper about all them verses and get your study on. Then you'll be familiar with what I'm talking about. Because I know I'm not sharing the exact verse at the moment, but yeah, the Bible addresses a lot of these things, and I guess the mentality of that. So that stood out to me this morning, and I just kind of chuckled because like I said, I didn't realize it was Bible that I was trying to live by. But yeah, I felt very weird like anytime when people are like, "Hey, tell me about you," or there was a situation during the debacle where I was challenged to, I guess, say all these great things about myself or what I've done or whatnot, and I'm like, this feels weird to do that. Like I just, not to be like, oh, my resume speaks for itself or something, but kind of like it was just so hard and weird for me at that time because I'm like, I feel like I'm over here to, like, trying to make a list of myself to be like, oh, I'm this or I'm that. Like I said, it just always felt better to get those accolades or honorable mentions or whatever the case is from others. That's where there's like true confirmation in those things. But anyway, stood out to me this morning. So here we go. James 4:10. It says, humble yourselves before the Lord and he will exalt you. So yes, and this is what we need to be doing at the end of the day. I feel like that's some good juice. Humble yourself before the Lord. It's a nice little reminder that, what he will do when you are humble. Again, anytime that we're trying to lift up ourselves, it just, I say it never worked, not really, but I mean, according to the Bible, it's just, there's a firm foundation when the Lord is lifting you up. I'll just put it like that. Yeah, a firm foundation when the Lord is lifting you up versus, the shaky ground of trying to lift yourself up. So that's pride, y'all. That's some different things I came across when I was looking into pride this morning. So let's get into shame, y'all. For shame. No. Yeah, I got a couple verses for shame that I came across that I felt led to share. One of them is Psalm 34, 4-5. It says, I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed. Honestly, again, as you look into shame in the Bible, you're going to see a lot of things that is telling us to not be ashamed, or it's just the opposite of, I know what the definition of shame is and stuff like that, but when you look into the Bible, it's, I guess, again, it's just reiterating different ways that we're not going to be ashamed, especially, I guess, as believers or things of that nature. So I found that to be interesting this morning as I was looking into shame because, yeah, anyway. So I got another verse here. It's Isaiah 54:4. It says, fear not, for you will not be ashamed. Be not confounded, for you will not be disgraced. For you will forget the shame of your youth and the reproach of your widowed. You will remember no more. So, yeah, like this is what the Lord wants to do for us. At the end of the day, this is what I feel like that I'm receiving in these couple of verses. I mean, on one hand, like I said, when it came to this whole idea of pride and shame, and I told you guys how I came to this idea this morning and whatnot. I mean, there's plenty more verses that you guys can look at and peruse and let marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds about both pride and shame. Like I said, it's very similar. I found it very interesting how similar the definitions are, but at the same time, how they're completely the opposite. I found it interesting, again, reflecting on how we are in life, and again, how, we're prideful about the things that we probably should be ashamed about, and then we're shamed about the things that we probably should be boasting about. Like, and again, the main thing we should be boasting about over anything else is as it says here, understanding and knowing the Lord. And I mean, I guess that's the juice this morning, y'all. That's the conversation about pride and shame. I hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired. But let me give you guys the Bible verse of today, and that's Proverbs 12:25. It says, heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stew, but a good word maketh it glad. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. But don't forget, tonight at 7 p.m. we have a new episode of the GSL Talk Show going live, and it will be with Miss Carol Slusky, and she'll be sharing actually a powerful testimony of how she dealt with grief and things of that nature. She lost her daughter and whatnot, and just amazing lady with an amazing testimony. So I hope that you guys check it out tonight at 7 p.m. on the GSL Talk Show. And tonight, preferably, I'll be, enjoying some seafood with my family for my dad's birthday today and whatnot. But, yep, that's what's going on. I'll let y'all know what happens tomorrow if the Lord's will. Y'all have a great, great Friday. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.